And hello, everybody. It is time for the Tech Informist, episode 89, recorded Monday, July the 20th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I am joined by Brad Whiteside. Brad, welcome back, sir.
I'm back.
Yes.
And might I note that I really do not like morning shifts at all. I will stick with my night shifts.
Just not an early bird.
No.
Those guys get all the
think-
worms, though. That's what they say.
Yeah, I doubt it. But I think I'll be just fine doing what I'm doing now.
I spent, years, probably like 12 or 13 years working nights when I was working at Chrysler. And, I would go in and start work just before 5 p.m. in the evening. And so I didn't have to worry about traffic really, unless there was like some crazy accident, because I was always going against the flow.
Opposite direction.
It's
Yeah,
always the opposite direction.
was
one of the best parts about it. But then I finally got tired of, getting home at 4 in the morning, getting to bed at 5, never seeing, friends, family. Oh, you're having a great event that I really would have liked to have gone to, but I've got to work.
Well, I guess I'm not so much nights as I am more of a mid shift.
Yeah.
Although it sometimes turns into nights.
One of my favorite shifts to ever work was right around, like starting at 1 in the afternoon, getting off at about 9:30. That was always a nice shift.
That is about the shift I'm doing right now.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, I really enjoy that because, well, I don't even really have to be in at 1. So I'm lucky and I can sort of make my own schedule. It's more of as long as I get all my stuff done. And, well, I always do, so I just kind of keep doing it. And, sometimes I go in a little early. Sometimes I go in extremely late, like when we have something at the Microsoft store. Yeah. So...
Which, we will have that next Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
Big
So excited.
Windows 10 launch. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some swag.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine the stuff that... I mean, they were pretty excited about it because I was there, last Thursday, doing a video marketing presentation.
Oh, okay.
I was doing a little talking and doing a lot of film recording last week.
Now, was that for one of your other podcasts?
No, that was not. That was just kind of like just our STL Tech Media side.
Ah.
So that was the hat that I was wearing that day, was the media hat. And those were 2 very busy days, which was why we didn't have the episode last Wednesday, because I was at Stampede Con, which is a big data conference here in St. Louis, doing some video work there. And wait till you see some of this video that comes out of this. I rented a 70 to 200, I guess it's millimeter. I don't know all the technical terms yet for camera lenses. This is like a $1,350 to a $2,000 telephoto lens.
Whoa.
Fabulous. I mean, we're in this big banquet hall at the Westport Sheridan Chalet over there in Westport. And the room's huge. So I'm back there on the little stage platform that they got set up, and being able to just zoom in, I was like, oh my God, this lens is amazing. Just fantastic. So that was another thing that I learned. Rent equipment, because it's a lot cheaper than buying a $1,300, $1,350.
No joke.
I mean, I rented
How
the
long
lens
would
for
it take to
$50.
How long would it take for that thing to pay itself off?
Really, you could pay it off in 1 or 2 video jobs, actually.
Oh,
but
well.
It's one of those
Shows
things.
how much I know.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what you can make in video. And I know I need to really work on my pricing.
Well, it's a newer thing and it's still getting the feel for it. So
yeah. But it's really fun. Really, really fun. Now I've got a long road of editing to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember I think the first day, Wednesday, I shot like 129 gig of video and photos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You'll be at the CIC building for a little while.
Yeah, actually, it's all uploaded.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
How long did that take?
Not that bad because on day two I realized that the hotel's Wi-Fi, which was public, I found that their upload speed was like 70 something
Holy crap.
megabits per second. So I'm like, boom, I'm uploading stuff while I'm finishing up shooting things
Yeah,
here.
no joke.
So that saved me a lot of time actually. So everything's uploaded. I got uh, the girl that was there, Victoria. She was also shooting some photos and video. So we met Friday morning to swap what I shot, what she shot. So we've got each other's content to put together some trailers for. Really, really fun. Lot of data. So it was a good time. Really, really good time. But I guess we should kind of get on point a little bit. I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. So a lot of interesting things going on in the last week. I've been using the LG G3 a lot more, and I decided, hey, I've got an LG G watch sitting here. Why don't I start using it again? But the sad fact is the LG G3 on AT&T, at least with the Android 501 update, its current release available for that model, is slow. It's sluggish. It's terrible. It needs 5.1.
Oh no.
It needs 5.1 or it needs Android M to release instantly when Google releases that in probably October, I'm guessing. So we need Android. We need an update on the LG G3 for me to actually go back and really start using it. Just at one point, I left work and I'm driving by where the new IKEA is. And for some reason, they only had, every other sign has the full IKEA. Well, this one area on one side of the building only has Ike. So IKE. So I thought, oh, I'll just take my camera, take my phone out, open the camera, quickly snap a picture. No, the camera is so sluggish because the software is horrible on there with the 501 update that I couldn't really get a good photo. So I came home and said, you know what, heck with it, pulled the SIM out, put it back in iPhone 6, and it's good to go. But now I'm finding that I miss using the smartwatch.
It's funny you bring that up because I sort of had a similar experience last week. So last week I was in a lot more like water than I normally am because I was washing cars and painting cars because there were a lot of people gone at work. They were on vacation. So I'm like, man, I can't, wear my band and feel like safe about doing that. Well, all these different things are going on, so I'm just not going to wear it this week.
Well, if I would have known you were washing cars, I'd have brought mine by.
Yeah.
That would have saved me from having to go by waterway.
Well, it's going to rain. Well, actually, it is raining, so that would have been for nothing.
That's okay.
Anyway.
Still clean to start.
It's still, yeah, mine needs a bath too. But anyway, I missed mine as well. Just put it back on the other day, and it just feels like normal again. So,
but the thing with me, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, is the fact that since I'm not wearing it, I'm having that phantom feel like it's actually still on.
Like it, or it buzzes or does something. I'm like, it's not on my hand, body. What are
I don't think I'm really having the buzzing, the vibration feeling. I'm feeling like the weight is still there to a point. Not full-fledged, but it still feels like something is there. I'm like, nope, it's not on.
No, I got a few ghost vibrations throughout the week. So it'd feel like it was buzzing or something, and I'd look down. Nope, not there.
Yeah, it is such a weird phenomena.
It really is.
I like to say.
Don't completely understand that.
It's like right now, actually, it feels like there's something on that wrist, but there's nothing.
Well, I'm back to normal finally this week, so
good.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're glad to have you back. We thank Sam for stepping in. He's actually on vacation this week.
I really enjoyed that episode. It was a lot of Microsoft talk, and
which I know you were bummed that you got to miss it.
You know what? That's just how it rolls.
This is kind of how it goes sometimes. We have to
but
miss the good stuff.
I know we are. We do have some Pluto talk coming up, so
Yeah, we got some Pluto talk coming up with the New Horizons. Yeah, so
yes.
we'll be touching on that as well. Back to the smartwatch real quick. I still don't think, even though I'm using the iPhone, I don't know if I would want to get the Apple Watch. I mean, if I could get a really good buy on one, yeah, sure, I'd love to have one. If I could get one for about 200, I think, but just not the 350. Just don't see that. And
So
apparently, go ahead.
are you saying you would like maybe wait for a first gen to get to about the $200 range and maybe snatch it up used from somebody?
Yeah, I'd probably buy. I'd buy a used Sport
Right on.
for about 200. I'd have no problem with that. And I don't know if that's what a lot of other people are thinking, because that's one of the little stories in here. And this kind of story has been floating around for a little while about the Apple Watch. Sales are not. I mean, sales are low right now compared to what they were when the Apple Watch first launched back in April. To me, it makes sense. Everybody that was really excited and hyped up about it releasing, they've probably already bought one. So
Yeah, I don't see why this is such a surprise to people. And not only that, but it's selling better than any first gen iPad or iPhone ever did. So if that says anything for a first gen product, you know, I mean, yes, it's Apple. Yes, it's expensive, but that's where they make their money. It's on the hardware. So that the price isn't of any surprise either. But I don't know. I fully expected everything that's going on. Me personally, I don't know.
yeah, the smartwatch market is still being felt out.
Yeah, I don't know if it is the next big thing or not. It's kind of sitting in this limbo stage where we're not quite sure if we want to put something back on our wrists or not. I mean, with me, it works great. For what I do at work, it's nice to just, instead of pull out my phone, start texting or whatever, I can just hit a button, talk to my watch, send it. It's quick. It's I don't have to pull my phone out and in danger of like me dropping it on straight concrete, which not cool. Um, and it works for me. So I mean, it's not for everyone, but it
Yeah,
works
one of
for
the
me.
nice things that I noticed would be when I was driving, listening to Pocket Cast, streaming through the auxiliary port on in my car. And I could pause and start playing right there from the wrist. Got hands right there on the steering wheel. Like all I had to do was kind of like turn my hand just a little bit and tap the bottom right corner, and that's the pause and play button.
I am jealous of that feature.
And it's like that is just so nice and convenient. But I look at smartwatches and I still think for the majority of consumers out there,
Hmm.
I think they're just still too complicated for people.
Well, I don't know if it's so much the complicated. I think it's like Leo Laporte said at one point. It's a really small screen to try to do so many things on. I feel like I'm using a Tamagotchi or something without any physical buttons. Like there's things that you can do, but there's so little screen reality, and we haven't quite figured out that the way to use it yet. I don't think. I
Yeah.
think Apple still is iterating on theirs. Google's same. I mean, I feel like Microsoft did a pretty decent job, but theirs is very different from the other two. So
Yeah. And, of course, there's rumors of the Band 2 having a more rounded,
yes,
kind of a rounded display instead of it being so flat, which has, been one of the biggest complaints is how it fits with that.
yeah, I do get the complaints of it being bulky. I get where that's coming from. I kind of agree with that. No, but I kind of look past it too at the same time because it works well for me. I mean, it's a first gen product and it did better than I think most people thought it ever would have. So
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely one of the most sought after products
for
for
a
quite a
while,
while
yeah.
there because they
Um,
just either weren't making them or you just couldn't find them.
well, I don't think they wanted another Surface debacle on their hands.
Right.
They didn't want to make a bunch of bands and then just have them not sell again. That would have been terrible. So, in one way, not having them as readily available, was good in two ways. They didn't spend a bunch of money, and people really wanted what they couldn't have.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing to do is kind of hold back production or release a little bit, and just to help build up that demand. Gosh, I really want that.
Well, I just real quick on Band 2, I really hope it has NFC, and I really hope that they have some kind of music control on it, so I can control music or podcasts on my smart band. That'd
I have
be
a feeling
excellent.
that they will.
If they can put those two things in there, that would be pretty much perfect for me. I would not need any other feature until, I guess, something bigger or better came along.
Yeah. If Band 2 doesn't have groove controls, we'll just call it groove because that's what it is. It's not Xbox Music. It's not just music. It's groove.
Yeah, and
I
no,
would think
go
it'll
ahead.
have some groove
Yeah, for
interconnectivity.
sure. I just really hope that it is more of a universal control of your audio and not just specifically for like groove music or Pandora or what have you.
Yeah, if it detects any kind of streaming service, whether it's the standard podcast app, Pocket Cast, Groove,
Right.
Pandora, TuneIn, just anything like that. If it can recognize that, and I don't even guess it'll be whether it'll recognize that'll probably be up to the app developers to implement that into app updates,
That's true.
which I would think the Pocket Cast developers, I'm sure they'll be all over that.
But you would almost think that Microsoft could, go over that and go over their heads and just incorporate it as a whole. Because if you think about it, when you have your headphones plugged in, the ones with the buttons on them, it's doing the same thing. You click the
Yeah,
button once, you pause, you click it twice, it's like skip, and you click it 3 times, and it's skip backwards. So
yeah. Like Raul says in the chat, he's talking about NFC payments with Band, and like tap to pay, like you can do with
yes.
smartphones, or I guess you can do that with the
So
Apple
paying
Watch.
with Starbucks is like one of my favorite things to do with the band. I know it's just like the little barcode and you just scan your wrist, but it's so convenient.
So are you spending more at Starbucks because you can do that?
Yes. I will specifically go to Starbucks because I can pay with my band.
Okay,
It's like, oh, there's a Starbucks. I kind of want coffee. I'm going to pay for it with my band.
yeah, I'm just going to go there. I'm not going to go to Panera or Dunkin'
I
Donuts or
don't
somewhere
really
else.
like either of their coffee.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion, though.
Hey, we've all got our own individual tastes.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Starbucks isn't too bad. I'm trying to think what it was.
know. Yeah, I know Starbucks is like the McDonald's of coffee. It's fine. I'm not as cool as the people over on the West Coast who have awesome coffee shops.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm okay. I'm okay with Starbucks for now.
Yeah. It'll do. It'll do.
Yes.
Plus the fact that they're everywhere.
They are.
Okay, so let's talk about, you posted a story in here from Gizmodo about the death of SIM cards.
So I'm kind of excited about this.
Okay.
I, number one, am kind of tired of SIM cards. Sometimes they short out or they break and then you got to go to the store, get a new one. I like the idea of the quote unquote SIM card becoming another quote unquote eSIM, where it's kind of more towards a CDMA instead of a GSM profile. But basically, Apple and Samsung are kind of working towards this, and I really hope it succeeds, because if it does, they will supersede the carriers and have control over what phones. So basically, you would turn your phone on, and you would select the carrier you're going to, need a eSIM for, basically, and they could program it to where you couldn't have certain carriers in there. So they would go over the carriers' heads. I kind of like that. Carriers have a little too much power at this point. I kind of like the fact that the two big, head honchos in the mobile industry are kind of going above that. So now, obviously, this isn't ready or near ready, I don't think, but it's something they're looking into, and I think it's definitely a direction we're going to head towards. New protocol could be implemented next year is when it says, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
But kind of excited about this.
it would probably be really nice, as somebody that swaps SIM card, between phones and stuff frequently. It would be nice to not have to worry about, do I have the right size? Where's my SIM card adapter? Because one's nano, one's micro, and
Yeah.
so on and
Okay.
so forth.
So yeah, that's a big point right there. So I was going to use the 640 XL with my SIM card for my 1520. I was going to full on just toss my 1520 aside for a couple weeks and use the 640 because I loved it that much. And I opened up the SIM card. I'm like, crap, it's the wrong SIM. Well, that takes care of that. I had already, erased my band. I was getting ready to connect my band to it. And lo and behold, wrong SIM card. Well, all right. Guess I'm carrying around almost 2 6-inch devices for 3 weeks.
So I assume it uses a micro SIM.
Yes.
Okay, instead of the
The
itty
Nano.
bitty nano.
Yeah. Yep. I know there's like an adapter that you can get, but by the time I would have got that, I just, nah.
Yeah.
So I didn't worry about it.
I got the one that Jerry Hildebrand from Android Central. He really always talks highly of. And I bought that off Amazon, and that's what I use. So if I switch
need
from
to.
my iPhone to the LG G3, I've got to use the SIM adapter.
Yeah, I really need to think about getting that just for that specific purpose. What is it, like $10?
If that,
Yeah.
between 7 and 10, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's very worthwhile to have that. I definitely recommend. I can shoot you the link if you want.
That would be excellent.
Because it's a nice one. It's pretty firm. It doesn't feel like it's real cheap and flimsy.
That is good.
Yeah. And it actually will snap in. The SIM card will snap in there pretty good, and it'll hold it very well. You just have to make sure to put the SIM card in before you put the adapter in. Don't even,
Right.
will it fit? Because then it'll get caught. And of course, the SIM connection, little pins kind of things, they can bend.
Mhm.
Very flimsy. And that's one of the things that would be nice regarding about an eSIM, to not have to worry about that.
Yeah, you get rid of the. It's for me. It's like disk drives. I've had the worst luck with disk drives, Kevin. Like almost all of my 360s, the older ones, the ones with the red ring of death, their disk drive went out before the red ring of death fried it.
Oh,
And I just our Blu-ray drives on most of our Blu-ray players that we've had. The optical drive goes out on that too. It's like I'm so tired of optical drives. Just get rid of them. I'm done. Let's go. Let's fast forward to 2030 and no more freaking disk drives. I'm so tired.
we know you don't like physical media.
No, and like so somebody did a study earlier. I want to say last week, saying that gamers still want physical media. I kind of see that, but I'm so fed up with it too because you have to worry about scratching your disc. You got to worry about whether or not the optical drive is going to keep working because I've had, like I said, bad luck with Blu-ray drives. And you got to worry about, just the overall health of the disc all the time. Whereas if it's stored on the hard drive, it's either the hard drive works or it doesn't work. There's no, worrying about 5 different things.
With the new Xbox One 360 backwards compatibility, you insert the disc in like one time, and then I guess it automatically downloads the digital version from the Xbox store.
Yes, but you still have to use the disc anytime you want to play that game, unfortunately.
Okay.
But the flip side of this is if you have, let's say, Xbox Live right now and you're still rocking a 360, any of those games that you've been downloading from Games with Gold, they will transfer over for the especially like the first party ones. Like right now, Gears of War 3 is free. So if you download that right now, as soon as it's available on the Xbox, you can download and play that to your little heart's content on the Xbox One, which I have already bought Gears of War 3 like 5 different times. Long story short, I already have it digitally. So
yeah, you're a fan.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I only have it tattooed on my arm now, so. But
Actually,
which
you need to share an updated photo of that.
it
After
hasn't really been updated since the last photo.
I know, but your skin is probably healed somewhat
Oh yeah, yeah,
as
true.
opposed to then it was all like fresh and I mean, it
So
looked like your skin was literally on fire.
so yeah, I will definitely be sharing that very soon. I might be getting it finished within the next week or two. So
Okay.
we'll see how that rolls.
And speaking of Gears of War and tattoos, I guess did you see that contest that they were running a
Yes,
while back?
and like all the emotions that so basically on Twitter, Gears of War was doing this thing with the hashtag like Gears Inc. and people would send in, you know, their art, their older artwork, and they would pick a few people and they'd go and bring them to a you know artist and get it refreshened up, retouched up, and maybe add a little bit extra to it. And I just remember seeing the one girl, you know, she saw it for the first time all freshened up and brand new, and she started crying because like it to me it resonates the same way it resonates with her. Like it was just one of those games at that particular point in my life that really meant something to me. And it meant more than just a game. You know, it was kind of like a symbol of so many different things. And you know, once again, that's why I tattooed it on my arm. It's a symbol of something that stands for me, basically. So has a lot of meaning behind it. So I definitely know where she was coming from. But yeah, it's really cool. And so Rod Ferguson, the used to work for Epic, then worked for Irrational Games on BioShock. Now is back on Gears of War. He got his first tattoo finally, and it is of Gears of War Crimson Omen. So that was pretty cool too.
Okay. So if you're a big Gears of War fan, you've got to have a Gears of War tattoo.
Yes.
This is kind of part of the gig, huh?
Well, you know, if something really means something to you, you know, maybe get a tattoo of it. Tattoos aren't for everybody either, but that's okay.
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't have the one that I do. I wish it would have been something different, but you know,
Well, you can
if
always get
it's
it covered up or retouched or
yeah,
something else.
get a refresh. That's it.
Yeah.
Just get it refreshed. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Just real quick, since Rawl is talking about Cortana in the chat about Cortana for Android. You know, we've talked about it months ago that there was rumors that Microsoft was going to be making Cortana available on both Android and iOS. Well, there's a link floating around, you know, actually a story, I forget which website it was, that actually talked about it first. And, you know, they actually shared out the actual APK so people can actually try this now. And I've been using it on my G3 and Nexus 5. And it actually works. You know, it works just like it would on Windows Mobile, on Windows 10, Windows 8, 1. I mean, it works fine. You get, you know, 20 uh, flash flood notifications or heat advisories,
In the
depending
St.
on,
Louis area,
you know,
yes.
within 5 hours, you'll get 20 of those notifications. So if it works well. It does, you know, there's no "Hey Cortana" function that's not
Yeah,
there.
I
But
kind of figured. But yeah, actually, I'm not surprised about this at all because this was one of my first articles I wrote for STL Tech Talk about a year ago. So I mean, it was like you said, it was something we knew was coming, and I'm really excited to finally see it here. Because regardless of whether or not like it's widely adopted, it's still in the hands of more people than it would have been,
right, so
especially
its
with Windows
functionality
10.
is going to be better.
Exactly, and especially with Windows 10 coming out. I mean, it's just and Cortana's going to be on the Xbox. She's going to be on. It'll be really interesting, Kevin, in a couple months when I say, "Hey, Cortana," and see how many devices light up in my house.
Yeah, that is going to be the big thing for, you know, not just imagine sitting in an office or in a co-working space. I'll just use that as a better example
Oh God.
where it's relatively quiet. I mean, you've seen where I'm currently working.
Yeah.
And if there's like three of us sitting at the table with the Windows 10 device, and I say, "Hey, Cortana," and this is assuming everybody's got it set up. How many people's devices will just start listening, and you start hearing all these dings and all the noises? That'll be interesting to see.
Yes, indeedy. I,
But
I I just, when I'm gaming, I tend to have my tablet next to me so I can look certain things up. If I get stuck or if I need help with,
if you need a cheat
something.
code, we know we need some kind of cheat code.
Kevin,
Where do I go next?
cheat codes are so 1990s. There are no cheat codes anymore. It's all
Left,
about
right, left, right.
It's all about cheesing the boss.
There you go, cheesing the boss.
Yes. But anyway, so it'll be really interesting with the Windows 10 upgrade, with Cortana on the Xbox, on my phone, all those devices sitting around and near me. How much I might even take a video of it just for laughs. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I mean, I'll have it on my Surface Pro 3. It'll be on my 1520, and if we
Speaking
do
of,
get the new 940 devices, probably one of
yes.
those.
Which for some reason now there's a rumor that they're going to be called 950s. I don't like they're skipping a generation. I don't know, but heard that. Strange.
Okay.
Also, my tablet finally got the okay go ahead for Windows 10, so I went ahead and reserved that as well. So I've got 2 devices ready to go.
All right. Yeah. So speaking of Windows 10, we know that is coming out next Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Right. So obviously, if you were an insider, you're going to go ahead and get upgraded to that final version, which if you're not already updated to the 10.240 version, I believe it is, I don't think you can download the ISOs anymore of like the 10.166.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think you can install I mean, if you already had the ISO downloaded, you're fine. But now the update is just coming straight through Windows Update. You don't have to have Insider set up or nothing like that. So
yeah, I'm curious. Are you going to be like backing up your computers at all? Any ones that you're pushing to Windows 10, or are you just gonna flat out put it on there, erase them, and start over fresh and do it that way? Or how's your update process going to work? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot different than mine.
Yeah, so my update process is going to be pretty much just back up. I mean, like with my desktop, which actually maybe today I'll get that out and see what kind of updates are available for it since November. Yeah, so with that one, I've got like a 500 gig secondary drive, and then I've got a smaller main drive for my OS and programs and stuff. I'll probably just since I don't keep anything on that drive, I'll just wipe it and start that one fresh. With my Surface Pro, I have not really been keeping a lot on it since I know that's the one that I've been
kind
doing
of testing on.
Yeah, using the insider previews. So I haven't really stored a lot of data on there. So there's really nothing to back up on here.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with my Dell tablet. I have nothing stored on there of any importance. Anything I have on there, I can just re-download. So chances are with that one, I'm going to upgrade to Windows 10 first on that, and then I'll wipe it and start fresh, and then just re-download like what I think I've got Chrome and a few other apps that'll just automatically download. So, and then after that, probably give it like a week max for my computer. And then probably put Windows 10 on computer as soon as possible, because I really want this game streaming thing, Kevin, because then fiance can sit and watch TV. I don't have to interrupt her TV. Just jump on the computer, plug in a controller, and boom, gaming. So That is, I cannot wait for that feature.
Yeah, I will actually want to come over and watch you do that because I want to see that in action.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that is like one of the main reasons that I want to upgrade to Windows 10 is for that specifically. That's the main reason I got a Windows Phone 7 was because, boom, it had Xbox. You could get achievements right on your phone. I thought that that was amazing. The little app that you could essentially text people to their Xbox 360 and say, hey, I'm going to be home in X amount of time, start up the game, let's get it ready. That was amazing to me, at the time. I mean, now all devices are pretty much going to have, uh, the ability to do that. But at the time, that's the main reason why I got it.
Now, I was listening to the last episode of Windows Weekly, and Paul Thurrott was kind of going into more detail about talking about this streaming from Xbox One to desktop computers and such.
Mhm.
It seems like there might be some confusion, and I'm not sure really which direction this is leaning. In the fact that, for example, your fiance is sitting there before she goes to work, and she's watching something on Netflix.
Right.
You're itching to play, some Xbox One game. I don't know if you can stream Netflix on Xbox One yet be playing an Xbox One game on your computer. I don't know if it will actually be able to do
I
that
thought
or not.
that would be a little disheartening because I thought that in the January keynote and another time after that they had specifically said somebody could be watching TV while the other person is playing a game on the computer.
Right. And that's the way that I've always kind of understood it, that, somebody can be doing something entirely different on the actual, connected to the TV. You can be watching something on TV, but yet you can still be playing your game over on your desktop.
And see, the reason I say this will work is because you can basically do that now. You just snap TVs to and playing a game. You can do both of them at the same time. So if you can do both of them at the same time that way, I don't see any reason why you couldn't split up the screens because they're already using the same computing power on on one screen. Why couldn't you just split it up to two screens, especially over Wi-Fi? I could understand it not working.
I mean, that might be the limitation is your Wi-Fi set up in your home. And
Well,
the
I'm
bandwidth it'll
hardwired
take
on
up
all
there.
my
Well, if you're hardwired, you're definitely in a better
devices. Yeah,
situation.
yeah. I'm hardwired on all my bigger devices just because I don't want any interference, while playing a game or.
Oh, I completely understand.
Yeah. So that being said, I really hope. I don't know. We'll find out. Well, it's only like a week something away. A week
Yeah.
and a couple days. So
Yeah. I mean, that functionality might take a little bit long. I don't know if that's like a day one thing that, hey, all right, here we go. Let's do it. So,
yeah, and like you said, maybe it's not something that's right on day one, but we'll see.
maybe it'll be an Xbox update when they push more of the Windows 10
Yeah, and that could
core
be
to
something
the
later. I
Xbox.
know for now that I can still stream things,
Hmm.
so there's at least that. But and if she wants to watch TV but doesn't want to like go into her room and watch it on the little screen, I can still stream from my Xbox One while she uses the 360 in here and still uses the same apps and watches TV like she normally would. So it could still work. I've got multiple ways.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on and talk about Pluto. I know that's
Yes.
it's a big thing in the world of science, and I'm really glad that they did this. And this is kind of like a project that's been in the works for, I believe, what, 9 or 10 years.
9.5 years, almost 10 years. Yeah.
When the New Horizons rocket slash, I guess we'll just call it an explorer, actually left Earth. And I was watching that video. I believe it was the one where Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. It's so great.
Which, if you have not seen this video, you have to watch it. It is absolutely hilarious. And, I think more and more that I watch Stephen Colbert, I never really got into his show just because I don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't either.
So I'm not super familiar with him, and I know on the show, Stephen Colbert show, that was more of a character that he was portraying. Now, as he's going to be moving into the Late Show, taking over for David Letterman on September 8th, I believe is when that kicks
Oh,
off.
right.
He's going to be more of himself. And I watched his, what is it? Comedians Getting Coffee in Cars, the series that Jerry Seinfeld does, which is available on Crackle and like a couple other places, which that's a really good little series if you have not watched it, which actually I might just put that as my entertainment pick for today because it was a really good session. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. Neil was talking about how fast for the New Horizons Explorer to get to Pluto, there's always that, if you're going to be doing this mission, the mission's got to be able to, reach its, climatic point within like
X amount of time before the person that's leading the mission actually like croaks or dies or
retires, passes away,
yeah,
et cetera. So they knew they had this window that they need to do this. He said that the Explorer passed the moon within like 9 hours.
Or it was like, yeah, somewhere it's within hours where it took the Apollo mission 3 days.
Yeah, it took the guys the Apollo missions 3 days to get to the moon. This thing made it there in 9 hours.
This thing is booking, like,
and that's
hardcore.
Was booking. And then talking about the science of it whenever it got to Jupiter, kind of, coming up from behind Jupiter and kind of like a NASCAR draft. And that was a Stephen Colbert reference that he used, just like drafting and then slingshotting to go even faster. Like, man, these people are just geniuses that set this up. The timing and everything involved in this is just amazing.
Think about it like throwing a dart, but your target is millions of miles away. Like it just, and beyond that, I mean, it's almost like a trick pool shot, but your corner pocket is millions of miles away. Like it's hard to comprehend how much like math goes into this, but at the same time, it's like so humbling and cool. And like you said, for them to get that out there, they needed to strap the biggest rocket on this thing, and make the actual module that takes pictures and downloads and sends stuff real small, strap on a huge rocket and just friggin' launch it as fast as possible. So as fast as we possibly could, we got it out there in 9.5 years.
It's amazing to predict this stuff, the trajectory, and just the entire path to make sure it's not going to run into anything there, and just crossing your fingers and hoping some random space rock, asteroid, something just doesn't get thrown out of its normal rotation and orbit into the path of that, and all of a sudden it just runs into it when you're like a year away.
Well, so the weekend before, it went dark. Like it went into safe mode. It couldn't contact. It was the weekend of 4th of July, so NASA was a little like, "Oh crap!"
No, this
so
close.
It went dark for the weekend. It finally got a ping back from it. It went back up. Everything was good. Obviously we got all the pictures, but for that like weekend, can you imagine being 9.5 years into a mission? You're almost there, and the week before it just takes a crap on you and you're done. That would have been the worst possible outcome.
48 hours of silence.
You're
like, oh my gosh, no.
I mean, now they do have a backup, like they have a backup set in place, and so it went into safe mode and went into backup mode, and then I guess whatever it was registering, it looked past that or went past that, and everything was cool. But like I said, for that brief 48 hours was probably terrifying for them.
But just, I mean, the distance we're talking here. I mean, this is 9.5 years of space travel.
Hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that data is, and they can still keep a connection, a wireless connection.
Yep.
And yet there's people that have trouble with Wi-Fi in their
I
own
know.
house.
I know. It's so. And speaking of connection, just to give you guys an idea of how terrible the download speed is on this thing,
Yeah.
it's worse than dial-up. It's worse than a 56K dial-up connection. It's like 1/56th of that. It's anywhere between 1 and 3 kilobytes. That's it. So that's why it's going to take about 18 months to download these just massive gigabytes and gigabytes of data down back to Earth.
Yeah. I think one of the videos that I watched regarding this yesterday, and it might have been when Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking with the guy from NBC, talk about, imagine for the next year and a half, every month is like a birthday because, you're getting all these new images and this new data and stuff like that. It's like you're celebrating a birthday for a year and a half of the same birthday.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So you might get an image a day or something. But there's just so much data that we collected and just so many things that we're learning. And, regardless of the controversy that people, make about it, Pluto isn't a planet anymore, and that's okay.
Yep. It's a little dwarf planet.
The king of the Kuiper Belt. Then that's kind of cool in its own right, I think. Yeah, it's just really cool to finally be old enough to kind of get it and understand this stuff while it's happening for the first time. Because I wasn't alive for any of the moon landings. I wasn't alive for, a lot of the space stuff that we've done. But this one I was, and that was really cool experience. It's really exciting. So I can't wait till the next one, we hit like one of Jupiter's moons or something.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where we're headed next.
Because when you factor in the thought that Pluto was discovered in 1930.
Yeah.
So we've really only known about it for 85 years. And when you think about it, it's like, it sounds like that's a long time, but in the grand scheme of life and in history, it's just a drop in the bucket. And talking about it takes 238 years or 248 years, whatever, for Pluto to make a full rotation of its orbit around the sun. And you factor in that since we've discovered it, it's only made it a third of the way around. That's like saying it's only went from, January to March, January to April. That's its calendar year. That's in respect that it is.
That's how long we've known it from, like, we've known it for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Basically. Out of 85 years. 3 or 4 months.
Of its, orbit cycle. That, I don't know, it's just very impressive. And then they were talking about the moon, I guess Charon is one of Pluto's moons. The
biggest moon.
How they constantly face each other. And it's like especially termed.
Well, it's like with our moon. Our moon always faces the one direction with the Earth. So, when it's in orbit around us, we always see the same side of the moon. That's where you get, hey, dark side of the moon.
Right.
In regards to that, crap, I forgot where I was going with this. It's a Monday, so I do that. But I'm sure it'll pop in there eventually.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just one of those things. I believe people need to sit back and kind of like just respect and appreciate the time period that we are in and what this really means, like right now. Because this is, it's pretty monument, like
I remember where I was going.
Monumental task.
So
we've achieved.
When we first discovered it in the 30s, we thought it was about as big as the Earth, which was huge for us. And every century that went by, we discovered it was smaller and smaller and smaller. So we figured out it was about the size of it, it is now. And then, we discovered like right before we came up on it, it was maybe just a tad bit bigger than what we previously were measuring. I mean, that little, like, it was like a few miles bigger than what we thought it was. So it wasn't substantial. We were pretty darn close. But, just to go from, like we were talking about earlier, January to March, and realizing that, hey, this thing isn't as big as Earth. In fact, it's smaller than our own moon. That's crazy.
Yeah, they talk about if you were to put Pluto, up against the Earth, the the width of Pluto is from Denver to New York. And proportionary to Earth to Jupiter, which Jupiter is like 11 times the size of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The Earth is 5 times as big as Pluto. So, if you put Pluto up next to Jupiter, woo-wee. Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, try fitting all those Plutos in the Jupiter.
Yeah. So I just think is really something neat to appreciate in our lifetime.
Absolutely. And in regards to space exploration, I find it funny when people who have control over things like this, like in Washington, D.C., let's say, they don't want to spend all that space exploration money. It's funny they say that, because the times when we did our best space exploration was the times we were, in Cold War, or there was like a missile crisis.
Just before the Vietnam War.
Yeah, the Vietnam War. Like, that's when the most space exploration was going on. So for you to say that now, I call BS. I think that we need to spend a little more money, well, a lot more money in my opinion, but at least a little more than what we are now, because exploring, it gets those creative juices going in so many different ways. And for instance, right now / maybe yesterday, there was an asteroid that flew by our Earth that was made of it was like 90 tons of platinum, which is like $6 trillion or something silly. Like, could you imagine if we could go out to that and even mine a little bit of it, and then come back with a
lasso
payload?
it up and be able to do something and pull the platinum from it.
I mean, that harnessing that power would be incredible. Maybe we'll see that in my lifetime. I don't know, but we won't get there unless we keep trying to explore and keep overcoming these obstacles that are in our way to begin with.
Neil deGrasse Tyson for president, 2016.
Yes. I'll vote for that man any day.
That would be something.
But also, no, I lost it again. I'm bad about that today. I'm sorry.
It happens. Like you said, it's Monday. It's gray. It's cloudy. It's raining. Yucky day.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Let's go ahead and move on to... Is there anything else you wanted to kind of touch on with Windows 10 or anything else real quick?
I think we'll touch on that quite a bit next week for sure. I just kind of was curious what your update process was going to be. We already touched on that. Just real quick, I really enjoyed the 640 XL when I did have it the past couple of weeks. I thought it was just a fantastic mid-range phone. I only had and I was nitpicking at this point because I just absolutely love the phone. No dedicated camera button, and the speaker was left little to be desired. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it was great. I would definitely have bought this had I not gotten a 1520 already. It's perfect size. It felt great in the hand. Good little device. So I already wrote up a review and it's up on the site.
Yep.
Might need to pick through and edit a few things here or there, but it's...
I did that last night. So
okay, good. Then we're good.
All good. Spacing's good. We're all nice. It's all good. Well done, sir, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Well done. All right, so let's move into our app and entertainment picks, and I'll let you go ahead and kick yours off first.
So I want to say about a month or so ago, might have mentioned a True Detective season 1. Well, season 2 is ongoing, and there's 3 episodes left. If you have HBO Go or HBO Now or any of the sort, you can go back and rewatch the older stuff. So far, it's not as good as the first season, which I was expecting, but it's better than what I was expecting it to be. So I'm not a big Vince Vaughn character, or fan. Usually he plays in like romantic comedies that are just bleh. But to be honest, he does a really, from what I've gathered so far, a really bad guy, a really good bad guy. Like he's doing way better than I thought he was going to. I saw that he was in this season and I was worried. Now I'm not. I think he needs more roles like this, the way Matthew McConaughey needed more serious roles. And if he starts transforming into a more serious role character, I might become a fan. From
Because
what
when you think about Vince Vaughn, his comedy, you want to say kind of like shtick and what he's good at. That it's kind of getting played out.
Well,
his comic.
Go ahead.
It only goes. There's only so many ways that he can go with that. The kind of like cocky, hyper guy, always just talking about random things, and you can only do that in so many films before everybody's like, Vince Vaughn's in this comedy. I wonder how it's going to be.
Right. And to be fair, it's very possible that he just might have got pigeonholed, into those roles for a while. And this is him trying to break out. And I think that's really cool. The actress her name escapes me.
Rachel McAdams.
Yes, she plays in Mean Girls as Regina George. If any of you've ever seen that movie, it's by Tina Fey. It's actually pretty hilarious. But she plays a more serious role, which it was really refreshing to see her in a serious role. The guy that's in Daredevil. Let's just go to cast.
Vince D'Onofrio?
No, Colin Farrell.
Okay.
I love his character in True Detective season 2. I think the only thing I remember him really from was like Daredevil and maybe SWAT, I think.
Okay.
But his character's great. He's a great actor. And then Taylor Kitsch, which if you've ever seen, I think it's Friday Night Lights. Paul Woodrow. Yeah, Paul Woodrow in the show, as played by Taylor Kitsch. Sorry, my bad. But he's in Friday Night Lights as one of the football players. It was really refreshing to see him in a more grown-up role. So yeah, really good cast, honestly. Not quite as good as the first one so far, but there are 3 episodes left, and things kind of got a little crazy last couple episodes, so we'll see.
Okay, so how many episodes total is this season?
I want to say, let's see, we're at 8.
Okay.
So.
Let's say, because it seems like it hasn't been on very long. It's like it just came on a few weeks ago.
Well, right, and they're like a mini-series, and generally speaking, mini-series about 10 episodes, but I'm guessing with this story, there wasn't enough material for that.
Okay. All right. I still need to check it out. I've heard nothing but good things about, especially the first season. And
the first season is so good. I highly recommend.
So I like everybody that's really been involved with both seasons. So yeah, it would make sense that I would need to check it out. So I am going to go ahead and use Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. You can go to comediansincarsgettingcoffee.com. And you can see all 6 seasons. So far, they've done kind of 6 seasons. And what they say of a season is only like season 6 has 6 episodes right now. Stephen Colbert, Trevor Noah, Bill Maher, Jim Carrey, Steve Harvey, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who, of course, played Elaine on Seinfeld. And again, this is by Jerry Seinfeld. This is kind of like an independent thing that he does. Sure, he's got some sponsors and stuff, but the episodes are only like 16 to 20 minutes long, so it's not like you really have to invest a whole lot of time. You can binge watch this in like 2 hours and really have no problems watching it. It's really funny. It's very well done. It's entertaining. I definitely would recommend checking this out if you get a chance. And of course, we'll just link to it in the notes if you would like to go to the website if you forget what the name of it is. This is very good quality stuff, which makes me kind of, looking really forward to the new Late Show when Stephen Colbert comes on and takes over for Dave, as Dave has retired back in May. Just kind of see what direction he takes the show and to compete against, Jimmy Kimmel, which I think Jimmy Kimmel is just rocking the Tonight Show. He's really surprised me with how well he's done with that and just the entire response. I haven't really watched a whole lot of Jimmy Kimmel. Wait, let me see if I'm getting these guys right. Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. Yes. Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, Jimmy Kimmel on ABC. I haven't spent a whole lot of time watching Jimmy Kimmel. I've watched a lot of Jimmy Fallon. That's it. So I think it's just very, very well done. Which one do you kind of prefer, Brad? Are you a Kimmel or are you a Fallon guy?
I am definitely a Fallon guy. He's so ridiculous, and I just feel like I connect more with him.
And he's just a really talented guy. I mean, music, impersonations, and just comedy, and he just has so much fun on that show. It looks like just very, very impressive. So we'll go ahead and talk about our poll question of the week, which the most recent one was, which of the music streaming services do you prefer? I believe it is completed. Yes. So out of the 4 options, which were Apple Music, Groove from Microsoft, Google All Access Music, and Spotify, Groove from Microsoft got 44%. Spotify came in second with 41%. Let's see. Apple Music had 11% of the votes, and 4% were Google All Access.
Real quick,
mm-hmm.
Apple had launched new iPods since the time we had last talked. So just throwing that out there. I really want to get one, so I have a way to, check things like Apple Music out, or I can get to mess with other iOS apps that I normally wouldn't be able to. So might be getting a new iPod soon.
That would be a good option for somebody that doesn't want to go all in, kind of like with an iPhone.
Right, and it's maybe not so much that I don't want to go all in with an iPhone. It's more of I'm really waiting for the new Windows phones.
I would say I would get more use out of an iPod Touch than I would an iPad.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just my experience with iPad. Just even though now that I'm using an iPhone and a Mac more, I still really have no need for an iPad. Just don't. But again, that is just me.
Yeah, just throwing that out there real quick. You can throw it right back.
Yeah. So our new poll question for this week is, how soon are you going to be updating to Windows 10? We're just a little over a week out. Options are immediately, I'll wait a few months, within a few weeks, and I do not see a reason to.
Interesting.
Yeah, so cast your vote and let your voice be heard.
Yeah, there was a little, I want to say, Scrabble is the word I'm looking for, or it was like a verbal back and forth between a couple of blogs about one of the guys saying you should never upgrade to Windows 10, it's a terrible idea, and the other guy's like, that doesn't make any sense, and then gave all the reasons why it didn't. I thought it interesting.
Yeah, a lot of clickbaity kind of stuff. And PC
Oh
World,
God.
was it PC World or PC Mag? I think, because you look at, if you follow them on Facebook, like their page or whatever, their posts, I mean, it's like almost back to back, but just within just a couple days, one post is, top 5 or top 10 reasons why you should update to Windows 10 immediately. And then, a couple articles down, it's top 5 reasons why you shouldn't update to Windows. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
Just little clickbaiters.
Yeah, there was a lot of clickbait this past week, and it had to do again with the notion that Microsoft would literally commit suicide and get everybody onto Windows 10 and then expect you to pay a subscription for it. That makes no sense. Why would they do that?
The only thing that you'll be required to do to keep Windows 10 up to date, activated, is just to install the updates. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah, and
Just
which your
sign
phone
up for the
does
automatic. Yeah.
Your phone does it every day. You just updates on a bunch of apps every day. So how's the computer really that much different?
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft's doing away with the whole update Tuesday thing where they wait for the second Tuesday of each month or first Tuesday, whichever Tuesday of the month it was. You would have to wait an entire month before you get an update for something that got broken.
Mm-hmm.
In week 1. You'd have to wait a full month for it to get fixed. No, not anymore. Now, I mean, you just get updates whenever, and they'll be fairly small updates, and it'll just be a more streamlined process for everybody. So I think we'll go ahead and close the show down here, and we will definitely see everybody again on episode 90. I was just looking at the calendar the other day. I guess we're on pace for episode 100 to be at the end of August.
Oh, of course, when I'm moving.
All right. So like August 29th, I believe. Or it's whatever's that last Monday in August.
Okay, actually, I might be able to make that one. So the 25th through that weekend, 25th being a Tuesday, I will be definitely moving everything around. So for the 100th episode, you will be actually having me on camera probably all the time from there on out, because I plan on setting up my desk a lot differently as compared to how I have it now.
Right. So
that way, I can do the camera thing, not worry about anybody in the background, because there will be an extra person living with us at that point. Sarah's sister will be going to school here in St. Louis. So yeah. Hopefully that'll work out good.
Nice. Yes. So again, we would appreciate any and all feedback. You can either email it to us, contact at thetechinformist.com, or you can just, hit us up on Twitter, or Facebook, Google Plus, whichever method you prefer. We would appreciate it. We'd love to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what you'd like to hear more of, what you'd like to hear less of. All the good information, feedback. We love it. So make sure subscribe, tell some friends, let people know, hey, I really enjoy the show. I think maybe you guys might like it. Have other people give it a chance to enjoy. Maybe they might like something too. Yeah. So, and as always, if you would be interested in supporting the show, whether it's an individual or business, simply visit thetechinformist.com/support. And you can find all the ways that you can get involved for as little as $1 a month. Very affordable way to help keep the show going. So again, thank you everybody for watching and listening live. My name is Kevin Harvell. That's Brad Whiteside. Find us on Twitter at Kevin Harvell and at holy_shadows. So I guess until next time, consider yourself informed. We are out.
See ya.